episode 4, and it's the day after Halloween. So
That it is.
how was your Halloween, man?
Halloween. I worked. So Halloween is on Sunday, right? Yesterday. I worked Saturday and Sunday. But Friday, I think I don't even remember when. It's kind of a blur. But like, yeah, I dressed up only for work, and we came in as cholos and cholas. Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah, because it was like, yeah, Black and Hispanic that worked that day, Thursday.
Who came up with that idea?
So I asked a coworker, I was like, "Have you ever been a chola?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, you, I'm sure you could. Like, it's easy and stuff." Because she probably wasn't gonna dress up. And then my other coworker, he's like, "We should all do that. We should all be that." And yeah, so they were all like the flannels, the khakis and everything, and the eyebrows, bandanas and stuff. But they were getting looks. Because I came in a little later, my neck was killing me. But anyways, I was like, "How's it going?" Like, yeah, older people have been like looking at me like all weird and stuff. So I was like, "Damn it!" So I was like,
so cool.
Immediately, I was like, "Let me try to print off some Happy Halloween signs," because it wasn't Halloween, but still, people were just like thinking they were real people were working in the airport like that.
Oh yeah, it's just cholos.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, the invasion's begun.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump's been out of office for 1 year, and this is what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so dope.
But I came in as like a old school, like kind of Pachuco one.
Oh, okay.
But
So like
I had suspenders. I had like the white,
did you
button
slick
up.
back your hair?
I did, but actually I put it in a bun type of a thing, so I kind of look
that's hella
more.
not cholo.
No, I
You
look
look samurai,
samurai.
like
Yeah, I look more yakuza, wannabe yakuza than
Yeah.
actually cholo. But yeah, that
You gotta be like El Duran. Remember from Mi Vida Loca?
yeah.
El Duran had that slick ass hair with the suspenders
Yeah,
on,
he was
rolling that
cold.
bomb.
That's what I needed that day.
Mobbing.
That massage when he was just driving the bomb and then just rubbing on his shoulders.
Had
Yeah.
all the firme rucas on his back. Fool.
How do you get those? Not that I'm trying to.
You just gotta have
trying
the
to get
swagger, baby.
Yeah.
That's dope. I didn't even know that. You didn't even tell me about that. That's
Oh yeah.
sick.
Well, I wasn't saving it for the pod. But,
Cholo day.
Yeah, it was cholo. And then the next day, yeah, because we have like some gay coworkers too.
Yeah.
And one wanted to do drag, the other one like kind of like Barnacle Boy and stuff. But I was like, yeah, I thought we were gonna have a cholo day and like a drag day the next day. I thought it was gonna be cool, but yeah, it just wasn't as prominent. But it was still fun.
Bro, that's
How was
so
yours?
dope. My Halloween was cool. I didn't dress up, which I just didn't have time. And when you have kids, you're gonna have your first kid here pretty soon, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, next year won't be so bad. She'll be a baby still, so you can get her one of those little cute baby
Yeah, a
costumes.
little pumpkin or something.
But once they hit, so your nephew Royce, he's 10.
Yeah.
And
Was he Naruto?
He wanted to be Naruto, yeah.
Okay,
So he was
cool.
Naruto, which was like a pretty expensive costume.
I bet they get more expensive
And
as
then
they get older.
Yep. And then we grabbed a cheerleader costume for Mia, and it was like it's supposed to be like a zombie cheerleader, but we didn't paint her face. We just put her hair like really cute.
Do you think she would freak out on the face
I don't
paint,
know.
or
She might
like
have liked
just-
it. She's
okay.
really into filters right now.
Oh yeah.
So, and I shouldn't have introduced her to it because I was just on Snapchat one day, and you try to keep your kids entertained, especially like on the weekends when you're just chilling.
True.
And she was just kind of bored, not playing with her toys. So I whipped out the old Snapchat, put some filters on her.
What ones do they have right now? Is it like a scary one, like where you
They got a
smile
ton.
and they just like?
Well, I guess like preset ones, they had like a lot of Halloween stuff, so like just clown makeup or whatever, scary clown.
Yeah.
But when we were doing it, actually the reason why I did it is because she has this thing, dude, where she keeps coming up to me and she's like, "I want your mustache and I want your beard."
Whoa,
and so she wants to have one on her face,
Yeah.
because she sees dad with one.
Wow.
So I had there was this filter I'd seen on there, and so it was one where it gives you a mustache. So I did that to her so she could have a mustache.
Oh, what did she think?
And she didn't like it. She was like, "No,"
trying to rub it out.
Yeah. And then, but then she started seeing other stuff on there, like cartoons that she watches and YouTube personalities that she watches. So,
Nice.
They have filters, and then she got into Halloween filters. So she probably would have liked it if we painted her face, but we just didn't get into it.
So what was the candy like? Did you guys come up on a good score, or was it? Did you guys start early, or
We started, I thought, right on time.
Yeah.
Like, And that's the thing. It was on a Sunday this year. Right. And in Utah, you know, I know other parts of the nation, it doesn't matter what day Halloween falls on.
Yeah.
They go out trick-or-treating on Halloween.
Right.
But here in Utah, there's always been that staple that, hey, if it falls on a Sunday, you know, the LDS church members won't celebrate. They won't celebrate it because it's on Sunday. So it was like a big old debate. Like, is everybody going out Saturday? Is everybody going to go out Sunday? So we went out both days. And Saturday was just not very good at all. I mean, we went to our old neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so we went there, and there just was only...
I don't know why you're back there.
Just kidding. It was like every other house was giving out candy, but not even every other house. It was like maybe for a block, it was like every other house. And then after that, it was like there was like whole blocks not giving out candy.
Dang.
And then there was like a few.
They were like last minute, oh, Halloween's tomorrow, I'll get the candy Sunday. But then Sunday, it's like, oh, well, nobody's out, we're not doing anything. Or do you think people just don't participate?
I don't know. Like, well, actually, there was a couple of like mentions made because I'm on those neighborhood like groups and stuff on Facebook. Yeah. And especially like the Clearfield one, because I checked in on it on Saturday night when we got back from trick-or-treating. And they were saying, man, not a lot of trick-or-treaters today. I guess they'll come out tomorrow, you know? And then we went out again on Sunday. Yeah. And we went to a neighborhood close to where we live. Yeah. So in the Roy area. And there wasn't the same thing. There wasn't many trick-or-treaters and wasn't many people giving stuff out. There was people trying, like the people that were giving out. Okay. They had like this whole setup, you know, nice Halloween decorations and stuff, like really spooky stuff.
Yeah. I think trunk or treat is the way to go.
That's what I was about to say.
And then also, like, I don't know, did the malls still maybe do it or something?
They didn't do it this year.
Okay, so trunk or treat, that's
the guy on the group was saying that trunk or treat killed Halloween.
It probably did.
He's like, trunk or treats killed Halloween. Yeah, like kids don't want to go door to door anymore. They just want to go to that fucking trunk with all the sweets and get their fix quick, instant gratification.
That's drugs right there. That's a drug deal in the parking lot. Just quick.
Yep. And kids are like that now. They just want it instant. Like even my son was starting to get tired of going out trick-or-treating. He was like,
was it cold or no?
No, dude, it was perfect. It felt so good this weekend.
I remember when we would go and it'd like snow sometimes, but like, dude, we were out. Like,
we were out.
We started early.
Yep.
Yeah, we would just like
pillowcases.
That's who came to my house. Just one kid.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's a kid. This is a full-grown teenager. He was like 16, possibly 17. He looked like my niece's boyfriend. But he was dressed in like a cow costume. I'm sure he wears it to Chick-fil-A to get like free sandwiches or something. And he had a pillowcase. And I gave him a handful. I could have gave him more because he was the only person that night. And I was just, it wasn't.
That's it. Just one trick-or-treater.
I wish it was better.
That's crazy. Yeah. I know, because I was thinking that too. Like, hey, when we were young, that was the move. Like, everybody waited for Halloween. Like, everybody anticipated it.
Great.
As soon as October hit.
Do you remember, like some of your favorite costumes or, like, that
yeah. Oh, for sure. And you'll remember them, too. You know? But my all-time favorite was that fake blood. Like, you pump the fake blood through the chest. Yeah. I love that costume.
I had the fake blood Scream
Ghostface. The Ghostface mask.
Yeah, people didn't. Yeah, that was the first time it ever came out.
Yep.
Like, what
that was like
that?
90s, you know, mid-90s, that shit. And I remember getting it, and like you could feel it. Like if you didn't have a shirt on, you can kind of feel it
going down.
Yeah, and it was so cool. Like, and just kept squeezing that shit at school. And they probably don't even allow that anymore at schools. I don't think they do. They don't allow shit. I mean, we used to wear masks to school. We could wear our full-on Halloween costume. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the protocol is today.
It's no masks, no wigs, nothing like that. No violence.
There was a teacher, and I don't know. Okay, so I think it was second grade, right? Mom, she's always working, right? So like she was supposed to drop off the costume. I don't know if she was going to the store, but I swear I had the costume. It was a ninja costume, right? Like Mortal Kombat, and I loved ninjas and stuff like that. Waiting on mom. She'll be here. And lunch comes around, nothing. At lunch ends, nothing.
Oh, she was supposed to drop your costume off.
Yeah, we're supposed to walk through classrooms and stuff like that, and like, you know, show off our costume, get candy.
Right.
And she didn't show up. So the teacher, I don't know how she had costumes, but she's like, "This is what I have for you." And she's like, "There's this, there's that." She wanted me to like dress up as Wonder Woman, and like but like Yeah, like not in a good way too. Like she like I felt like in her, you know, in her intention was just like to fully embarrass me or something like that. I was like, I'm not wearing that. She's like, no, just try it on, do this. I'm like, why are you trying to force me to wear this? But then I seen like a hockey mask, and then like so I wore like a hockey mask or a jersey or something like that. And I was a hockey player, but I felt shame, dude. I was just like, man, I was about to be a ninja, about to just be like the best
the ultimate ninja
I could be. And then, just a hockey player, almost freaking Wonder Woman. Yeah. But
so she was like trying to sell you on this Wonder Woman costume?
She was trying to, dude. Like, and just for her own kicks. Like, yeah, you know, people are human, so I get it. But like, she knew what she was doing. That's cold.
And this was way before it was a trend to, you know what I mean? Or before people were like comfortable coming out to the public.
And if I wanted to be Wonder Woman, like it'd be cool. But like I didn't want to. And
Yeah. You know, that's cool. If I see a guy Wonder Woman, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, Dad actually said he saw like a little kid. There's a lot of trick-or-treaters at his place, their place, because they live in like a nice neighborhood, right? Yeah. He said the best dressed was a kid. He was like 7. And he was like a drag or whatever. And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, oh, that's the one I remember. And he was, So he's like, yeah, that's cool. He gave out a bunch of candy. So maybe they have it good in some places, but here it's just dead.
It was so dead. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the heck is going on? And maybe we hit the wrong neighborhoods. You know, maybe there's people that are gonna watch this, but oh man, we went to a good neighborhood, or my kids got a ton of candy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I just. We were 2 strikes, baby. Back to back days.
Any parties or anything that like you heard about or anything? Because we remember going to parties and stuff too, right? But like, nothing. No, nothing popped this time.
No, nothing that I was told in my network.
Washed.
Yeah, nothing that was told in my network. But of course, like there was a bunch of big ones in Salt Lake, you know, that were advertised on social media and stuff. Like costume parties and stuff like that. Bro, costume parties used to be the jam. You know what I mean?
I remember going to University of Utah and just costume parties. Oh yeah, it was fun. But.
Yeah, and even just like with friends and stuff. You know, there used to be at least 1 or 2 friends that were throwing costume parties, and we'd all go get a costume and show up, and it'd be themed. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this year, dude, it was just like routine. It was like, hey. All right, I know the kids want to go out and get their candy, so we're going to go out this time. You know, it becomes just like a scheduled event, you know, where it used to be one of my favorite holidays because you'd go out and spend all night in a costume. You know, as a kid, you were getting candy. You were spending time with close friends. Yeah. You know what I mean? Comparing how much candy you got to your friends or your cousins.
Giving your, like,
sharing
parents a cut or something
or trading candies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like these, but you like these, and let me get those. You know what I mean? Let me trade you like 5 Butterfinger minis for your nerds or whatever.
Lemonhead.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But now it's just like routine. It's like, damn, I was like, fuck, I'm a full-on dad now. I'm a full-on dad. Like, I ain't partying, you know what I mean? Didn't go out and do nothing. But it was cool. It was fun because I get excitement now seeing my kids get excited.
Yeah,
and
as long as they were happy.
Yeah, and it was Mia's first, like, memorable Halloween because she's 3.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially, like, for new parents out there or people who don't have kids, they don't know what's going on, you know, from infant to even 2 years old. It's just like you're putting them in this costume and they're like, why are we out of the house, you know? But at 3 years old, they understand. 4 years old, she's going to understand and stuff. And now Royce is getting out of it. My son's getting kind of, I see that he's not into it as much. Like he wanted to go and he had fun seeing other kids because there was a lot of kids in like Naruto costumes and big, anime costumes. You know, so he was like excited to see these other kids and these other anime costumes that he watches, and then play fight. You know, he's like, oh, I'll use whatever ninjutsu on you or jitsu, whatever they call it in Naruto.
But he just got over it fast or what?
He got over it quick, dude. He like an hour in, he was like, all right, I'm done. I want to go home. Like I got enough candy. And I'm like, are you serious? Because like we were saying, like I would just be out all night. I think there was a couple of Halloweens, if you remember, where we stood out like way late and people were go home. Like, like adults were like, hey, like it's late. Where do you live?
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool though. We had a group or something. But yeah, what else is going on?
I mean that's pretty much it. I did see that Ogden threw a like Dia de los Muertos like an event or something. Wouldn't say it was like a themed event, but it was an event for
like
Dia de los
downtown.
Muertos. Yeah, downtown on 25th
awesome.
Street.
Yeah, I like to hear that.
Yeah, I would have checked it out, but I was sick. I was actually sick on Thursday, Friday with the flu. Damn. So I was just trying to get better in time to take them out and trick or treat. But it was on the 29th. I seen a couple of friends went, and it looked really cool, which I really thought was awesome because I don't think that's ever been done here. Like, as a city event.
Not that I can't recall anything like that.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. And it got me thinking too, like we never got to experience that, even though we're Hispanic. We didn't celebrate Dia de los Muertos, you know?
Yeah.
And we didn't have anybody who in our family celebrated it. Like we knew of it as we got older, right? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, that's a different day, Dia de los Muertos, that's celebrated in Mexico or whatever. But we didn't celebrate it because we were so Americanized already, and our family was Americanized, you know?
True.
But I think it's cool that they're bringing that here because there are a lot of first generation Hispanic Americans and even, you know, Hispanic Americans that have been here a while, but they also were born in Mexico or, you know, areas that celebrate that. Yeah. And so it's cool that they're able to do that with their kids and stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You think Coco did it? That's a great movie, dude. Yeah. Like I watched that with like Kim, Maya, Mom, dude, after the end of it, bawled our eyes out. Like, it's crazy.
That was a great movie. Yeah. It really was. They did their thing on that. And I think it is. It kind of brought to light a lot of why it's celebrated, you know, because I even remember certain like religious institutions and stuff frowned upon it because it's, you know, like,
well, it looks probably scary from the outside looking in, right? Like people with the face paint,
with
like
the face paint skeleton, and stuff, and like,
but,
why are you celebrating the dead? Or why are you, you know what I mean? Why are you giving?
Yeah, it's just like misunderstanding. Or something,
like
right?
why are you basically worshiping the dead? It's like, but it's not about that. It's about your loved ones who passed on, and that's the one day out of the year that you get to pay homage to their life. You know what I mean?
Give them the food that they liked or something.
So Coco really shined light on that, and it taught me a lot of about it. I remember, you know, what's fucked up was we were watching it. I remember when it came out. When did that come out? Like 2018 or something? 2017? I don't remember. But I remember I took my son and his mom. We us three went to go see it, I believe. And she was asking me while we were watching it. She goes, "What does that mean? Did you guys ever do that?" And I'm like sitting there watching. I'm like, nah, we didn't do that. We're not those type of Hispanics, you know? Like, I could translate some of the words that he's saying in Spanish to you, but I don't, you know, we never did that. Like we never celebrated it. And that just goes back to like how, I don't know, we grew up in Utah. So there's not, unless your family does it, there's not a lot of outside influence of those kind of like Hispanic cultures, you know, culture stuff.
Yeah. Would you call it, and I don't want to give it a bad term, but would you call it whitewash? But like it's just, we just didn't implement it because it wasn't tradition because we only had like grandpa who was from Mexico, right? Yep. That's like our direct line of Mexico. And he was like the best person I ever remembered, and you know, look up to him, want to be like him. But, yeah, I don't know. Would you call it whitewash, or would you just call it like, we're just in America, right? So we're experiencing American things, right? Yeah. But like sometimes do you feel like, I don't know, if people just look at you or don't think you're American enough or something, so you kind of what's the word? You don't like overcompensate, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true because you get looked at by, you know, non-Hispanics, and they look at you and they're like, okay, he's Hispanic. So he's just like every other Hispanic I've met. And they might've known like people from Latin America or from Mexico. Right. And so like, okay, he's got to be the same way, cause he looks the same. Okay. But we're not, cause we're American and we grew up American, right? Yeah. In American culture. But then the people that are from Latin America or from Mexico that come here, and then they see how we are, and they're like, well, they're not even Hispanic. They're Americans. You know what I mean? So like torn between both cultures because of how we look and how we grew up.
Said it the best on that in the movie with Jennifer Lopez, where it's like, you're not Mexican enough for the Mexicans. You're not American enough for the Americans.
Yeah, the Selena movie.
Yeah, the Selena movie. But I don't know, man. That's just like, I think that's why I try to talk as proper in the way I do, because it's like people be like, oh, what did you say? Or, I didn't hear you. Or like, I'm like, no, I'm actually speaking properly. I'm telling you.
Oh, you know, I always wondered if you got that, because I get that a lot, but which is understandable because I'm very brown. Okay. Right. And you got a little bit of a lighter hue, do you?
Yeah. Well, I always wondered if it's like, because I was kind of, you know, born deaf, I guess. Like, so like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
you were,
you know,
yeah.
it was like my tubes were like tight or whatever. So I don't know if like I'm projecting as loud as I should, but I feel like it's also too them just having a preconceived notion that like I'm not speaking or I don't know how to speak properly or something. So I'm like, no, actually,
it makes me mad. So I get constantly like at least a few times in a week.
Yeah.
Like I'll speak to somebody, and especially because like the job that I have, I go, you know, home to home and do services for them. And so I talk to whoever at the doorstep, and a couple times they'll like, I can tell they're slowing their speech down, right, to talk to me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know I perfectly speak English. You know what I mean? Like,
I've
and I
shown
don't have an
that.
accent, you know? And then when I speak, they kind of like, I don't know. I've even had instances where I speak to somebody, and I think it's because it's coming out so, I don't know, clear, that they think it's not, or they're like shocked that it is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about.
about.
Bro, you know what's funny? That this just takes me back to a memory. So I was doing door-to-door sales, right, with a friend of mine, and we're in Plain City, which people from around here know Plain City. It's basically like a rural little town, like a farm. It's still
plain,
like
white, plain white. But yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, a little farm town type thing. But anyways, we were in Plain City, and I seen this guy out in his yard. So I went to go talk to him because we were selling services door to door at that time. And I start talking to him and getting into a conversation with him and stuff. And he's being, you know, pretty nice. He's a elderly gentleman, right?
Yeah.
And my friend comes up, who my friend's white, and he starts talking to him too. And then the guy's like, at the end of the conversation, it was a good conversation, but he's like, oh, maybe I'll call you guys. You know, I'm not 100% sure if I want to do that right now, but you guys, you know, are really nice guys. So I'll keep your information and give you a call.
All sounds
and
good.
he goes to my friend, my white friend, he goes, and teach this guy right here some Spanish. He shouldn't be talking like that so well.
What? No way.
Yeah, I swear to God, dude. And he said that to my white friend, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, we just had this conversation this whole time, and you're gonna say that? Like, teach me some Spanish because I shouldn't be talking this well.
That's
you know what I mean?
Weird.
Yeah, it's way weird. But I've even had friends like just like from work and stuff. None of my friends I've grown up with, but I've had friends that were like, literally, they said this was verbatim. I'm pretty sure, right? Said, how are you able to talk better than I am? I'm a white. And I'm like, what does that mean? And they laugh like, oh, you know, come on, like, you know, you speak all articulate and stuff like that. And it's like, but I'm not like trying. I'm not over here trying to be articulate. This is just how the fuck I sound.
This is
like,
this is me.
Like this is just God-given ability, baby.
I came up with this.
Wow. So I get that. You know, I get it a lot, and it's to the point now where I'm like, okay, I'm used to it, whatever, you know. And I know a lot of people would probably be like, you shouldn't be used to it. You should, you know, emphasize that, you know, hey, you this and this and that. But I just don't let it become an issue when I'm trying to get my real point across. You know what I mean? You can't sweat the small stuff, as they say. You know, but it's still, I get it. And I wondered if you've ever gotten that, but
I mean, just a little bit. Like, I feel like getting older, like I'm looking more Hispanic. Like I'm starting to have facial hair, which I never really did that much. So like, but yeah, maybe I'm dressing a little more Hispanic. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't know. And it's also a weird perspective because like we're actually full brothers, right? Same mom, same dad. I'm light, you're dark. But yeah, I've been in like situations like in college or whatever, and like we'd be playing basketball, and like the white kids think that like I'm white or something. They'll say something, you know, sideways about like a race or something like that, and thinking that I'm on board or something. I'm just like, yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if it's my responsibility to like just correct them, or to be like, you know, or stand up and be like, hey, like, why the fuck are you even talking that way or thinking that way? But like, that's just who they are. That's what they believe. That's who they, you know, what they think. So I don't know. It's a battle. I'm not trying to, I don't know if I'm trying to fight it. But yeah, I just, you know, people are going to believe, or, you know, also it's taught right through like their parents, their grandparents.
It's all learned behavior. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's all learned behavior.
Yeah.
But
it'd be a tough time to, you know, try to iron that out. But I don't know.
But I mean, it's good that if you do bring it up to them, like, you know, in a respectful conversating manner.
Well, that wasn't respectful though. Like in this situation,
they were disrespectful.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
they were being disrespectful.
Like it wasn't like super, and it wasn't like. I don't want to repeat or anything, but it wasn't disrespectful, but it was like something like ignorant. You know, they thought something of a different race. So they, you know, they said it, but that's what they believe because probably they were taught that. But I'm just like, nah, dude. Like I gave up on it. But
it is. it's hard to like just attack it, right? There's some people who will, and I respect those
I commend
people
them
do
too.
you know, I got friends that I know
they'll check somebody.
Yeah, they'll check somebody quick, and that's good. It's good to be that way.
Yeah,
you know, if you have that personality of an assertive personality, it's good to be that way. You know, there's no like right or wrong. I really don't think.
Yeah, and I'm not playing with these guys all the time or anything like that. So I'm not like, oh, I just want to play basketball, so I'm gonna just shut my mouth. No, it was just like. It was a lost cause, I felt.
Yeah, because some people aren't, even if you talk to them, they don't learn. I've been there.
Yeah.
Like, bro, so as you were talking about that, okay, and I think I've brought this up to you, but I was training a guy on the job, right? And he was an older guy, older white guy. Yeah. And this was maybe 2018 or 2017, something like that, okay? Yeah. But it was when the presidential race was going on. Okay. So like the
heat of it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it was after the presidential race. So Trump already won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Trump won. So this is like after 2016. Yeah. Okay. And so we're in like a fast food joint getting some food, and I'm training him on the job, right? Yeah. And there's something on the news about I think at the time it was either BLM or it was something to do with just like an incident that happened. I can't remember if this was prior. It was before George Floyd. So this was before George Floyd. Okay. Yeah. But some incident happened and it was on the TV, and he makes the comment to me. He's like, now, I don't have anything wrong to say really about any race in particular. Right? He's like, and especially Hispanics. He goes, you guys are hardworking people. And he had that country accent, right? Okay. You guys are hardworking people. You know, I never had a bad thing to say about you. He goes, but I'll tell you what. And he goes in about blacks, dude. Yeah. And he starts talking about blacks, and he's like, you know, I think this, I think that they're just trying to get handouts and stuff. And he's like, my neighbor adopted a little black kid. And I told him, hey, Charles, you can't, and I don't know if his real name is Charles. I'm just using that for the sake of the story. But he's like, hey, you can't do that. They're different cultures than us. Like, you can't influence them or bring them into our culture. It's not going to work. And I was like, eating, and I was getting furious, dude, because this motherfucker doesn't know, A, I'm Afro-Latino. B, my kids are full black. And so I had to pause my food, dude. I was like getting furious because he kept going on. And I'm like, all right, look, bro, I'm going to just tell you right now. Okay. My kids are black. My kids are full black. Okay. And I was like, and I got family members who are full black. I was like, so, you know, I don't know where you're going with this, but just wrap it up. And he just like ghost white. He went ghost face like, you know, I'm so sorry. But you know what I meant. I didn't mean like, I love those people. But I just feel like that we should be divided because of this. And he tried to justify himself. And I was just done talking. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to finish up here, bro. Like, you finish eating. I'll be in the truck waiting for you, you know? And I'm going to take you back to the branch because we're done for the day.
I feel like some people too, like if they feel like it's not necessarily hate, it's just like, but if it's disrespectful or if it's like something, you know, so negative and stuff like that, it's like, it's still racism. Like, or, well, you know what I mean? It's like still judgmental and just, ignorant, I think. But, and then also too, though, going back to Hispanics, like, did you guys, you're only 1 year ahead of me in school, but like we beefed hard with like the Mexican, like the first generation Mexicans. And dude, like that tore me. Like I cause, you know, just because I loved Grandpa so much. He was from Mexico. I loved being Mexican. Didn't look it, but like I had a Mexican flag in my room. I probably shouldn't have, because I can't speak Spanish. I can't, you know, but I still loved being, you know, having that blood in me. But yeah, beefing with them, and it just, I don't know why, like not me personally, but like they had something against me. They had something against my friends and my friends back. And like, we just like literally fist fight, do all this stuff. And just like, why? It's like pointless. Like, I don't know.
It's so true though, but it's always been that rift. There's always been that Hispanic American, and then like, I guess, you know, natural born Mexico, or not even just Mexicans, but Latin Americans, right? It's always been like a beef between the two, even though we're technically the same like race, right? But there's always been beef because we didn't grow up like they did, or however it's looked at.
Do you think it too?
We beefed like, with them a lot.
Yeah. Do you think it's like they think we're more privileged and stuff? Because we didn't have it so good. I mean, we don't need to go into details, but like we didn't have it, you know, great. But they probably think that we did just because, I don't know, their family's from Mexico or something. I'm sure everybody has their struggles though, right? But like they just don't see it.
I'm sure that's a part of it. I'm sure it is, and also. It's so you look at both sides. Like speaking from like my perspective, or people that are on my perspective, you know, Hispanic American. You see somebody who's from South America or Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And I've always heard this, and I never thought this because, you know, we had a grandparent who English was their second language, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people think they're smarter because they speak English, right?
Oh, yeah.
In general.
Yeah,
and it don't matter what race, but people generally, especially growing up, that's what was pushed is that, hey, we speak the better language or whatever, English. And if you don't speak English, then you're dumb, right?
Yeah.
So there's that aspect from like this side, right? From the Hispanic American side where they think that they're superior because they speak English, which that doesn't mean the language you speak doesn't even, you know, lay down a generalization of how you think.
Right.
But then you got those people on that side too, and their perspective is, well, you're not a true Hispanic because you don't speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you may dress like us, you may try to be a gangster like us, but you're not because you don't even know, you know, you don't even know the culture.
Yeah.
So that's like the dividing line. But those two dividing lines, dude, the middle ground is we're literally the same people. Like our people came over here
and
the
been
same
here
as your people,
and been here like since
for generations. What was it,
1846? This was Mexico.
This was Utah was Mexico. Like prior to that.
That's not that long. I know to a lot of people that might seem long, but that's not long. Like,
in world history, it's literally a drop of sand in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the only dividing factor. And like, if we were to look at the middle ground and our common ground, you know, some of that stuff, those lines would be blurred. You know what I mean? And we'd see the what it is, but it's just been built over time. Like, and I think a lot of the post-war, probably post-World War II stuff where like, it was rah America, rah.
Yeah.
That stuff influenced a lot of the division. You know, so anybody coming into this country as a foreigner was looked at as an outcast, right? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we don't fuck with them because they're not American like us. We're American born and bred, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that culture was created in that post World War II America.
Yeah.
You know? And so the people just adopted that, and then it infiltrated all these little cells of culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What that, you just brought up something that reminded me of, so I watched that Jesse Ventura, it was like a podcast, right? With
Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, it was good. But he I think at the end of it, he said like Muhammad Ali, I didn't really think about it, but Muhammad Ali did not want to join the military, not just, you know, for his own personal thing. I mean, of course not, but to not have, you know, blacks or African Americans, you know, join the war. Because think about if he'd be the poster child. And he'd have so many more, you know, African Americans go to war for no reason.
Exactly. Like, Jesse Ventura illustrated that point.
Yeah.
He was like, that's why he didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Think about like how on your conscience. Yeah. Like, I'm sending, you know,
they're using me to get my people to fight this senseless war.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And so he had that kind of, going back to like how you were talking about checking those dudes that were ignorant towards that, right? That ideology of that other race. So that same crossroads, you know, Muhammad Ali was pretty much in at that time. And he's like, I could go and serve in the military. And Ventura even said in that interview that they told Muhammad, hey, we're going to treat you like a celebrity in there. You're just going to do the USO shows. You're going to do exhibitions for the troops. You're not going to be fighting, right? But he knew they were going to use his image to get young African Americans to enroll in the war, right?
100%.
So he chose like, hey, fuck that. I'm not going to send my people into this senseless war for you. So I'm out. And he went to the extreme. They were going to put him in prison, right? And they took his titles and all that stuff like that. Like that was a big deal. And he did that because he knew the bigger good,
the bigger picture.
The bigger picture would come out of it. Like, hey, they're going to see that I don't have to do everything you say. I'm not a slave anymore. And how he said, you know, no Viet Congs ever called me the N-word. Why am I going to fight him? You're my opponent. He told that interviewer. You're the one that's oppressing me. You know what I mean? That's the most G freaking interview ever.
Muhammad Ali.
Rest in peace. Forever. Rest in power.
Yeah.
That man, dude did a lot for people of color. But I love that interview with Jesse Ventura.
Anything else that you picked from that interview?
You know what? Just how smart Jesse Ventura is.
Yeah, he's pretty.
Yeah, the dude. He's old now, so he's pretty senile, and he talks over a lot of people.
No, but it's good. Yeah,
and he has that unique voice, Jesse the Body Ventura. Yeah, you know, when I speak, everyone listens because I have this deep voice and my years of experience. Minnesota.
Do you think the wrestling, he got that from wrestling, or did wrestling develop? I mean, they probably go hand to hand. Yeah. But like, He probably got that from wrestling, right?
Well,
like practicing that personality, the persona.
That's a good point, but I think the voice is natural, right? It's now he naturally talks, right? But in wrestling, and he talked about this a little bit because he said that Muhammad Ali actually got his mic style from an old school wrestler, right?
Mm-hmm, he did.
And in wrestling, pro wrestling, you have to be able to talk on the mic.
Yeah.
Like that's always been the thing because you got to sell tickets.
Right.
So if you got a guy who can talk some shit, people are going to come see that guy because they're going to boo him or cheer for him, right?
Yep.
So he learned that, I'm sure.
Mayweather, yep.
Mm-hmm. So he learned that, I'm sure, by getting into wrestling, but he had the natural talent to do it well.
Nice.
And then it carried with him into his political career and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He carried that kind of persona into his political career, which helped him, win the governor of Minnesota. He won it in the 90s and he was an independent. He talks about that in the interview too,
Yeah.
He's the first independent, so not Republican, not Democrat, to win a seat of governor here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not affiliated to any party.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just had a lot of knowledge to drop, a lot of that stuff where he had his perspective on Ali, and because he grew up in that time,
he
right?
Talked about some conspiracy stuff.
Conspiracy stuff. The vaccine. He's a vaxxer. He's pro-vax.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy because I always think, older white guy in politics. Oh, he's an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, okay.
But no, he's not.
Yeah, he said he was on the side of the odds, like keeping himself. And he's 70.
Research.
Yeah, he's 70%. He's 70 years old. Yeah, he wants to live, so he took the vaccine to be out of a hospital. So yeah,
and he's agnostic. He's agnostic / atheist, so he's scared to die. He said, "This is it for me. I'm either gonna be in pitch black or I'm gonna be in the flames of hell. So I'm gonna live as long as I can live."
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do you think there's people?
Jesse Ventura's voice.
Do you think people are afraid of dying because like they've done some fucked up shit or anything like that, or like I don't know?
Oh man,
like they want to make it right, or maybe they'll never make it right, but they kind of want to be here to have the opportunity to maybe make it right. I don't know.
Everybody has regrets, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has some kind of regrets.
Yeah.
And they either make peace with them before they die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they hold on to them until it's too late and then they get really scared because they're going to die and they didn't make amends or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that, if you live to an old age, you may not ever be able to make those amends because those people that you've done wrong are dead already.
Yeah.
So now you're just sitting there with your guilt, right? In your own living hell because you never got to tell that person because your pride or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I think that plays a lot into it. But I also just kind of like spiritually, theologically, I do think that man in her, mankind, in their soul, they know that there's a creator. They know there's a higher being, right?
Yeah.
And so they know that when they die, something's going to happen. That higher being knows all, right?
Okay.
Sees all, and they're afraid to be exposed.
Maybe,
right?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's possible,
that's what I think.
I mean, if it is, and we don't have to go on the death thing again. That was the last episode. But I'm just saying, if you knew that somebody pierced into your soul, looked at you, and like if you've had something to hide, then that would not be a good feeling.
No,
but
not at all.
I don't gotta worry about this shit right now. Hopefully. I mean, I'm sure I've hurt, wrong. I don't know. I'm not a shady dude, but unintentionally or something like that. Maybe I have. So. Anybody out there, I'm sorry, and I love you guys.
This is a good opportunity to apologize.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast.
Yes, to right our wrongs. But nah, all right.
But it was a good interview. That Jesse Ventura, Theo Vaughn on This Past Weekend podcast. Really good. I'd recommend anybody check that one out.
Yeah,
that was a really good one.
He also talked about having a tax, like a 15% tax on pretty much everything. So you don't have to go through the IRS and stuff like that.
Right.
What did you think about that? And basically he said, so like people who want to buy like, expensive cars or diamonds or whatever, like, they're going to be paying more taxes because like the corporations, right? They don't pay really any taxes because they pay lawyers to get out of loopholes and, go to charity when it's not really charity and stuff. But anyways, how do you feel about having things at a higher price, higher tax? He said like people would live in their means. Do you think people live outside their means right now a lot? Or do you think, I don't know, or do you think like people just, they want to live a little or something like that because like they don't have anything, so like they want to experience or something because they probably work a lot or they have a lot of stress from whatever's going on in their lives. So do you think it's living outside their? It probably is living outside their means. But do you think? I don't know. It's like escapism, I guess, for a sense. But it's like they kind of need it.
It's like escapism, right?
Yeah.
They're getting monetary things to escape like the reality they don't want to be in, right? So if I have this nice car, I'm going to be perceived this way. If I have the nice jewelry, I'm going to be perceived this way. It's escapism. But also, I agree with his idea for a flat tax, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a flat tax. So instead of paying multiple taxes, you know, like here's a social security tax, income tax, you know, state tax, federal tax, it's just a flat tax, right? That's what he proposes.
Yeah.
So a flat, you know, 15% tax, which, I mean, on certain things, it would be like, oh, why is this a little bit more expensive, you know? But in general, it would be better than what we have now because, like you mentioned, the super rich who are able to buy things like of, you know, extravagance, they pay more in tax, and that tax goes to the government.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where right now, so,
and he also said, to put this in there, he said that the IRS is not just watching people like to see if they're, you know, swindling money or something like that, but it's actually watching companies and the government and stuff like that, you know, to see if they're allocating the money the right way and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
So it would be better in that sense too. But
like they'd be the watchdogs. But
you think about this, right? Like a person who's middle class or even under middle class, right? Let's say they saved up money, to go get like an expensive piece of jewelry. Okay, let's just say they save up and they get a $3,000 piece of jewelry, right? Okay. But then a rich person likes that same piece, which they probably would like something more than $3,000. But let's say they like that same piece. Yeah. They pay the same, like they're paying the same amount, right? The rich person's paying $3,000, the middle class person's paying $3,000, but the middle class person just paid more. Because they don't have that much. It's more on them. It's more off of their income to buy that item, where the rich person is literally paying the same price and the same tax, but he has more. So if you had that flat tax, the rich person's going to pay, you know, the more tax and pay the same tax as the person.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like
more stuff, they pay a higher tax.
If it's more expensive though, isn't the middle class / lower class person, they still want to pay that fee anyways to be like a rich person or something like that, or to like flaunt to look like a rich person or something like that.
Maybe they still would, but it would still be better in the end, because now when that super rich person wants to buy something excessive, they're paying higher in taxes for it, and that tax is going back into the surplus, the government. I get it. Yeah. So it would be better than what we have now. I'm not saying that it would ever happen though. You know what I mean? Because there's too much stuff involved. Like so many super wealthy corporations and stuff like that don't want to give up what they're making. So that's why they pay politicians to get in office and keep the status quo. You know what I mean? So and it would take a lot of people going against that or understanding how they're being fucked with to change things.
And that's,
you know what I mean?
That's when people are like, oh, you can't talk about politics, you can't talk about religion. But it's like, I don't know, like, you probably should talk about it, because
if it's especially because it's affecting all of us, right? Yeah. People should talk about it more.
Right. And you know? Like have discussions instead of like,
he talked about that too, like how it's so important for people to actually analyze candidates, right? Yeah. Not vote for your party, not vote for just one particular issue. Yeah. Like look at this candidate, what they have to offer you, and how does that fit in your world, right? How does that fit your family? What this person is saying, what this person's going to do, you know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of voting on, oh, well, I've always voted this, so I'm going to vote that. Yeah. Or, you know, oh, my parents always voted this, so I'm going to vote that party. You know
exactly. I mean? And that's, or do you think we're trained that way? Because it's like, oh, my family was this football team, so I'm this, or we're this high school, so we're this, I'm this company that I, you know, am loyal to, so I'm this. Yeah. Do you think we're trained? Or do you think
it's cultural, you know, it's cultural. Where you grow up, right? Yeah. You're going to be influenced and swayed by your environment. Yeah. Right. Course. So it's environmental mostly. But there was this quote, and the first time I heard it, it kind of sunk right in. And I've heard it multiple times because a lot of like really deep thinkers use this. But they say, so it was from Earl Nightingale. Okay. He was a motivational speaker back in the day and very famous and stuff like that. A lot of motivational speakers used his programs to become motivational speakers, right? Like Tony Robbins and stuff. But he goes kind of, it's not verbatim, but he goes something like this. So most of the population thinks they think, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then there's a bigger majority that would rather die than think.
Oh.
And then there's a small part of the population that actually knows how to think for themselves.
Oh.
And those are the dangerous, like in a good way.
Yeah.
Not dangerous bad.
No.
Those are the ones that are, you want those people that can actually know how to think and have a thought process, right?
Because that's pretty good.
Thinking is an activity, right? The mind is a mental activity.
Yeah, true.
It's not just a thing you can look and examine. It's a mental activity.
Yeah.
So it's always going, right?
Right.
And if you know how to use that to think about your situation, you're going to be far off. Some people, they think they're thinking, they're not thinking, you know? And then some people that don't want to think, they're just like, just tell me what to do. And I just tell me what to do. Tell me where to go and I'll be fine, you know?
Yeah. Fuck.
So that's real.
That's crazy. Yeah, that is interesting. I don't even know what to say after that. I'm not gonna think about it. Just kidding.
Right.
But
I mean, it's a good time to just do shout outs. Shout out to Valentino Paul Warren, who was on the last episode. It was a pleasure having my dude.
Yes.
He doesn't live here anymore. He moved to Texas, so it was nice to have him bless the set here of Rich at Heart podcast.
For sure.
Rich at Heart Utah podcast.
Yeah.
And then thank everybody for listening. I got so much feedback. This is episode 4. We plan on doing these once a week.
Yeah.
So I just
have more people on.
And more people on.
Get the,
we were
schedules lined up.
Yep.
And stuff,
trying to get schedules lined up to have more people on, which we will.
Yeah.
And we'll get more people on to share their experiences from being here in the nestled community of Ogden, Utah.
Yeah.
And sharing their life experience and stuff. But it's cool, man. I'm full of heart full of gratitude for people who are, viewing this, taking time out of their day to kind of shout it out or even just give like their review of it.
Right.
I'm really appreciative.
Yeah.
So it's
I like
really
that
cool,
feedback too.
Yeah,
and we do
really
get that. Do you want to save this for next time, or do you maybe we'll talk about what do we want to add to this or something like that?
Oh yeah. We can do a whole episode on that. But
okay. All right.
I just really,
or if you want to do a short answer. Yeah.
I just really wanted to share our experience here.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And get other people's experiences growing up here.
That sounds good.
Because it's such a unique experience. Like we've said it in a couple episodes already, but a lot of people from Utah are either LDS, right? And for a long time, it's been a very small minority population here.
Yeah.
And so we grew up in a very small minority population, you know what I mean? Non-LDS plus minorities, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just getting people's experience about that's pretty much what I wanted to get out of this podcast and just find genuine people. That's why it's called Rich at Heart.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just genuine people who want to talk about their experience, want to talk about their life or things they're doing now. You know what I mean? Not even just past experiences,
or what they're feeling.
Yeah, or what they're feeling and stuff. And just use this as a platform for people to extend their voice.
Cool.
You know
all right. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you guys.
Signing off.
Peace.